I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
And this is Northwest Brew Talk. Welcome to Northwest Brew Talk, the #1 podcast on Washington beer. This is episode number 65. Each and every week, we promote the Washington brewing industry by talking to those people involved and drinking Washington beer. If you like to drink Washington beer, learn about the people behind it here on our show. With over 300 breweries, we try to highlight as many as possible every episode. If you're new to the show, we suggest you check out our back catalog with some great interviews and lots of Washington beer. This week, we have an interview with Sumerian Brewing, our brew news, and local music from Maszer.
If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and send us an email, nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at nwbrewtalk and on Facebook at facebook.com/nwbrewtalk. If you like the show and want to support us, share our link and tell your friends on social media. It takes just a few to start a revolution.
Woohoo!
So let's start the night off by opening our first beer,
Which is
Monk in the Rye from Mollusk in Seattle. They're a restaurant and brewery open 7 days a week, and they are family friendly.
right.
Monk in the Rye is a modern interpretation of an Abbey-style double with a rye twist. 8.6% ABV and an untapped rating of 3.81.
Okay.
Ooh, I can smell that over here.
Mollusk
Smells good.
used to be a gastropod and Epic Ales. And this, they said here, only 58 cases made, bottled in February of this year.
58 cases. That's not many at all.
Pretty dark. It's a dark amber. And you said it's like a double. It's got a little thickness to it. It's got...
It's good. I'm not a huge fan of rye beers, but
right.
it's not bad at all. I wasn't expecting to be a huge fan, but it's not bad.
What did you think? It's just the rye you didn't think you'd like?
Yeah, anytime we've had any of those rye beers, I'm not usually a huge fan. I'm
Right.
not going to say it's a bad beer because it's certain. I mean, none of them I don't think were. And this definitely isn't a bad beer. I actually like this, but I've actually found a lot of the Belgians I do like. So maybe that's
right,
what I'm liking.
Right. Yeah, you could be right. This has a little slightly alcohol-ness to it.
Yeah, definitely.
What ABV is it?
8.6.
Oh, yeah.
So it's definitely up there.
Yeah, 8.6, and it's a double, like a double. So yeah, dark ale. Yeah, it's definitely not my favorite. I'm not a huge fan, but I wanted to check out Mollusk. Saw the bottle. We had picked up a ton of new stuff recently, so I wanted to check that out. And it's not a bad beer. Just it's not kind that I would go for normally if I was out.
I would go for it. I like it.
Yeah, good for you. I see you going for seconds.
Topping this week's news, with so many breweries in Washington, it seems like there's openings and anniversaries weekly. We try to catch them all and have another couple this week. This Saturday, May 7th, River Mile 38 Brewing in Calumet is celebrating their second anniversary. On Friday, they will tap a new American brown ale made with 7 malts and oats. Fun for all on Saturday. Lucky Envelope Brewing is celebrating its first anniversary also on Saturday, May 7th from noon to 9 p.m. That day, they will tap their anniversary IPA, a Brett beer, and some barrel-aged beers too. They'll also release a small batch of Thager Mom Belgian Triple infused with lemongrass and Thai lime leaves. Interesting. Get there early for giveaways. Black Raven Brewing is celebrating their 7th anniversary this Saturday from noon to 7. The annual Flock Party is 21 and older and will have live music, rare beers, food, and an outdoor cigar lounge/booth.
As if there isn't enough going on this weekend, the Bacon and Beer Classic takes place at Safeco Field this Saturday. There are 2 sessions, 1 to 4 p.m. and 7 to 10 p.m. VIP holders get an extra hour. We attended last year and thought it was great with unlimited drinks and food. Go to baconandbeerclassic.com for details. While we love openings and celebrating anniversaries, there has been a slow but steady stream of brewery closings in the past 6 months. The latest is Budge Brothers in Spokane. They were open for 5 years, and they are putting their 7-barrel system in storage, indicating they may return to brewing at some point in the future. We wish them well. Open just about a year, and Blackbeard's Brewing in Westport is already expanding. Construction going on since January. The new production facility sits next door to their current location. They hope to have the new facility operating by June. The Decibel Brewing Kickstarter is nearing the end of its run, and they're getting close. If you donate and you're a listener of our show and let them know, they will kick in some extra stickers for you. Search for Decibel Brewing on Kickstarter.
Pike Brewing Company is presenting the 5th annual Women in Beer. This celebration features women involved in the Northwest craft brew industry, along with local women cheesemakers, restaurateurs, cider makers, chocolatiers, and more. The event will feature over 35 local breweries, cider makers, cheesemakers, restaurants, chocolatiers, and more, and takes place on Monday, May 16th, from 5 to 9 p.m. at Pike Brewing Company, and benefits Planned Parenthood of the Great Northwest and Hawaiian Islands. Anyone that loves Foggy Noggin and wishes their effin' tasting room was open more often, have a treat. Founder Jim Jameson announced that the tasting room will now be open on Friday as well as Saturdays during the warm weather months. That means starting this Friday, you can visit Foggy Noggin from 3 to 7 p.m. That's twice the hours for twice the beer. That's very exciting.
No Lie Brewhouse in Spokane has been growing by leaps and bounds in recent years. Co-founder John Bryant told Brewbound that if they continue at the pace they are on now, they will likely buy land this year for a new 60,000-barrel facility. According to the numbers, No Lie is one of the most profitable beers for distributors to carry, as it had the highest average case equivalent price of craft brands selling in Spokane, Seattle, and Oregon markets. Prior to that, the company had introduced rebranded six-packs for their core 3 brands, Poser Pale Ale, Crony Brown Ale, and Slacker Brass Ale. The company has also pulled out of several markets, including North Carolina, Ohio, and Texas, to focus on local sales. The 8th annual Seattle Beer Week takes place starting next Thursday, May 12th, and runs through May 22nd. The opening ceremony takes place at Reuben's Brews, who brewed this year's official beer. Events take place across Seattle every day during the beer week, including several fests, a marathon, beer tastings, and much, much more. We went to several events last year and had a great time, so definitely check it out. Visit SeattleBeerWeek.com for locations and events every day. And lastly this week, we've been talking about our new book, Washington Beer, for quite a while now. Well, the month has finally arrived. On May 30th, Washington Beer, A Heady History of Evergreen State Brewing, will be released.
Woohoo!
We have 3 confirmed events for June 4th and another possible 2 that we will let you know as soon as the time approaches. On Saturday, June 4th, the book will officially be launched at the amazing one-day book release event. Starting at 11 a.m., we will be in Bellingham at Chuckanut Brewery for a book signing. Chuckanut was kind enough to also offer a free tour of their brewery at 11:30, so this is a win-win for everyone. At 3 p.m., we will be at Populux Brewing in Ballard for a short history talk and a book signing. And at 7 p.m., we will be in the Microbrewery Museum at Pike Brewing in Seattle for another book signing. We will probably be at the Washington Brewers Festival signing books and promoting Northwest Brew Talk next month also. It'll be a great place for brewers to stop by for an interview. And don't worry, Eastern Washington and everywhere else. We will be booking signings across the state. So if you're interested, let us know.
Let us know, and talk to your bookstore owners. Tell them to reach out and let us know that they want us to be there.
Definitely. And that is the brew news this week.
Welcome to Building a Brewery with Bob and Jesse from Figurehead Brewing.
All right, I'd like to welcome back Jesse and Bob from Figurehead Brewing. How are you guys this week?
We're doing good. Very, very well.
Awesome. So I know I saw online you guys got some painting done and some other things have been happening since the last time we talked 2 weeks ago. So why don't you give us a little rundown?
Yeah, we had a bunch of volunteers come in last weekend and do all that painting, which was really great. So trying to make the space look a little more finished.
Right.
That was good. And then also got some pictures on our Facebook page of the fermenters that we got in this past week, which was pretty exciting.
Awesome.
Nice.
But we've also got a pretty entertaining sequence of how amateurs unload a three 7-barrel fermenters off of a truck, and we use a cornhole board actually to rig these things down to a hand truck and then put them into the space. It was interesting, kind of scary, and then once we got our routine down, it was pretty good. But anyway, if you wanted to see those, of course, check out our Facebook page at Figurehead Brewing or whatever. It's I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny watch sequence.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's just moments as we unload them off the truck there.
Oh yeah.
A brand new fermenters.
Yeah, really scary actually.
Because the driver was not able to help, right?
He did actually.
Yeah,
Oh, did he?
Actually helped.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
So what else has been going on? Anything new on the building other than the painting or anything else?
I think the next thing we got going on is HVAC. So we finished our gas piping, and we need to get our kettle vented. So that's kind of the hold up right now.
And so related to that, we would like to, just in case anybody out there is an HVAC person, can you send us a message on our Facebook page? Because we've had people come in, and I don't know if they're too busy or what, but nobody is getting back to us, and we really need that done. So if there's any HVAC people out there, give us a call.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, definitely. That you would think somebody'd want to make some money, but
No kidding.
apparently not.
It's probably because we're so poor and they know they're not going to make any money. I mean, yeah, anyway, you didn't hear that.
They would supply you with beer, but they don't have any yet. So, so anything else going on, or anything else from 2 weeks since the last 2 weeks?
So the other big news this morning, actually, I got the email that we got our TTB approval.
Oh, you've got it.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. So we submitted that, I think, mid-February. And when I submitted it, the average wait time was 160 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So we
that's
got
not
it past that time, which was pretty amazing.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, and anybody going through the process, I would just recommend that you contact them after you submit your package. You know, do your homework up front to make sure you submit everything correctly, but then follow up with them, because we had a great experience, you know, just through email, contacting the person doing the review, and she was very responsive and got through it really quick. So
that's good.
actually, pretty good experience.
Well, that's good. Have you guys had any inspectors or anything out yet, or recently?
We had our gas piping inspected this morning.
Okay.
I think that's the only one recently.
Pretty much the only one. Then we got to get our. We're kind of starting to wrap stuff up as far as contractors go. We got electricity and the ventilation deal for venting our burner gas and the brew house gases and stuff. So once we get those closed out, you know, we're pretty much ready to brew. I mean, pending approvals like our brew house approval and stuff. The next one will be getting a quick inspection on our chill box so we can finish building that. I guess it's also, you know, one thing to say is that we've got most of our stuff bought. We've got our wort chiller, and we've got our glycol, and we have our AC unit that's going in the chill box. We bought our pump yesterday. So all things being equal, we're trying to brew the middle to the end of this month and then be open in July, beginning ideally, but, you know, towards the middle. Hopefully it's starting to look realistic at this point. So we're starting to get excited about that.
Wow, that's really exciting.
Yeah, awesome. Sounds really good. Sounds good to us. All right. You guys have anything else this week?
I think that's it.
Awesome. I think last time we talked, too, you had a bunch of stuff that had happened, like, right before. So what, you guys wait till, like, the day before and the day of, and you get all these things done, and then you have something to talk about, right?
Yeah, scramble to get something done so we have something to talk about.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good talking to you, and we will talk to you again in 2 weeks.
Great. Looking forward to it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Welcome back to Northwest Brew Talk. If you want to submit news to Northwest Brew Talk, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. If you've not yet subscribed to our podcast, why not do it now? It's free, available anywhere you listen to podcasts, including iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio.
All right, and as we mentioned last week, just a week or so ago, we were at Sumerian Brewing in Woodinville. They got a very nice tap room, big. Plus, it stretches out into an outdoor patio and a back area by
very
their brewery.
Very awesome space they have there.
Yeah, very cool. And they got some very good beer. And right now, we're going to talk to Holly, Mark, and Tyson from Sumerian about their beer and their brewery. All right, we're here with Holly, Tyson, and Mark, all from Sumerian, and we're going to talk about their beers. We're going to talk about history, how you all got involved in this. So why don't we start? I know you started, Mark. You started a business back in the '90s that was beer related, right?
Yeah. I started a beer club in '95 out of my garage, and then it just kind of slowly grew into a bigger venture. And then I started adding wine to it, but I always had the passion for beer. And I started making beer because I got involved in the industry, and I actually had a small 3-barrel system at one point in time, and it just timing wasn't right, so I put that on the back burner, and then eventually got back into it, and here we are today. So yeah,
that was Boxing Cat.
Yeah, it was Boxing Cat Brewing. Yeah,
so
that was out in Monroe.
Yeah, 2001 just wasn't the right time, huh?
Yeah, no, the kids, they weren't, they were kind of little and stuff yet, and so there's a lot of time you have to put involved. So
yeah.
it just didn't work out. So yeah.
So what made you want to start a brewery now? I know it seems like everybody wants to start a brewery now.
Well, I've always wanted to own one. It was more of a timing thing, and so basically with my wine business, I ended up meeting Tyson, and so Holly and I, we would go get our allocation over at Betts Winery, which is a local winery here in Woodinville. And I found out he worked at Red Hook, and that he liked beer and had made beer, and so I'm like, hey, you want to come make some beer? And I built this little test system, and twisted on his arm for a while, but I wanted to get back. I wanted to get back. Yeah. I wanted to get back into it because I love beer and I like the whole industry and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it was good timing.
Yeah.
I know the industry was exploding, but our kids are growing up now and it had a lot more free time. So it just seemed like a good thing to do at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So the industry is blowing up now. And it seems like you guys just had your first anniversary last week, right?
We did, April 10th, and it was amazing. We had zigzag lines out the door, and we look back on when we began socializing the brewery and getting some excitement around us growing and expanding and the day-to-day growth of the business, and then to see everybody celebrating with us was like a proud moment for all of us. Lots of high fives, right?
Oh, yeah.
A year in the books, and there was so much behind the scenes with Tyson here. It's like we got this building in Woodinville, and Tyson is an incredible head brewer, but I'll tell you what, he had his sleeves up and, pounding nails and building the space for us too. And it's been quite an incredible journey. We're really happy about where we're at now.
Nice. So Tyson, why don't you give us a little background on you? You worked at Red Hook and got into the wine business?
Born and raised in Bothell and grew up here and went away to school down in Oregon for 4 years and came back in between junior and senior year and worked in the pub at Red Hook. We were running food, and so that's kind of where it started. My sister was a tour guide, and so I got kind of a kickstart there, and came back after school was all done the next year, and just looking for tips and a money job, and they were full in the pub, so I asked if the cellar was hiring, and they were, and so I got on in production and kind of snuck in the back door without a degree or no chemistry background, and was there for 7 years, almost 7 years, and at that point, I feel like I earned my chemistry degree through Red Hook and learned a ton of knowledge and left there as lead brewer, and jumped across the street to Chateau Saint Michelle and started hauling hoses again and cleaning tanks and kind of started at the bottom rung there again. And 2 years later, got bumped up to cellar master, and from there was cellar master for about 3 years, and then jumped ship again and went to make a very high-end red wine kind of down the street at Betts Family Winery, and was there kind of in charge of Bob's red wine program for 5 years, and about 3 years into Betts, 2 years into Betts, I met Mark and Holly, and Mark kind of gave the history, and what he left out was I told him don't do it like 5 times, 10 times, and I'm glad he didn't listen, because this is the opportunity of a lifetime, and what we have here and the team we have here is next to nothing. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
So and yeah, now we're just pushing forward and making more history.
So what size system are you running here?
We run a 15-barrel system. It's from Premier Stainless down in San Diego. They owe me $20 for that. Yeah, we've been running it since day one. We ran the little system just for test brews, but everyone knows that anything about beer, going from a half-barrel system up to a 15-barrel system or even larger is there's never anything consistent about that. And so we kind of started over on a lot of the recipes and knew the direction we wanted to go with all of them, and kind of recreated some as we jumped into the 15-barrel.
So where did the recipes come from? Were they yours?
We formulated some early on, and those have all kind of morphed into something else due to a few things, hop availability on a large scale and stuff like that. And they continue to kind of morph and change.
Right.
Our base beers have always been the same, though, and they're not going to change. So, our Pilsner, our IPA, our Pale, and stuff like that. So we'll kind of rotate new beers in here and there, but I think our big main focus is on our core beers, and growing any brand, you got to have that, solidarity baseline to grow off of.
Okay. All right. Well, since we have some beer in front of us, why don't we start? We'll go through a couple of them. You can tell us about them and what you put into them. And
Yeah. Let's do it.
Where do you
So
wanna
light
start?
to dark, or how do you want?
yeah,
to
we'll
do
go light to dark.
So the Pilsner, basically the only beer that is 100% European ingredients except the brewer and the yeast that's made down in Oregon. And the water. Water's not quite German.
No.
I do have German in me, though, so maybe it's partial. So it's 100% Pilsen malt from Germany, and then 100%, half Czech Saaz hops and some Tettnang in there from Germany. So basically, we wanted to recreate a Bohemian Czech-style Pilsner and kind of set it, I guess, aside from everyone else that's not, the market for Pilsner is huge, and people really aren't tapping into it. And we've seen probably obnoxious growth with this one, and I don't think any of us thought that this would be the one that's selling a lot of kegs. And our IPA sells a lot of kegs, but this one's right there, either right behind
Probably
it.
sells more of it, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
This has been
Yeah,
our
right
one
now
of
it
the
does.
Space Needle.
Really?
For months.
So and the Space Needle took us on first thing,
Nice.
right out of the gate. They put it on, and
4 months
so-
old, I think. They
Really?
told
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
So the number one seller down there.
Really?
Since, yeah.
Wow, that was a big leap of faith on their
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, the new kids on the block
Yeah,
getting
really.
into the Space Needle. Right?
And I had known the Somm and a couple of the bartenders down there from the wine industry.
Okay.
And they put a lot of faith in us. So,
Oh, well, that's cool.
And they trusted
This is
us.
very good, very malty.
Yeah, and this is the only beer that really has a distinct different yeast from all the others too. So we used a Czech style yeast on this, and which I believe really gives it the character of the Pilsner that it should be.
Yeah. Now, do you do any water treatment at all?
Yeah, I adjust,
Do you?
definitely. So I bring the pH down a little more.
For all of them, you adjust?
Yeah, differently.
Differently, okay.
But the Pilsner definitely a little more, get it as soft as you can.
Okay.
And yeah, going from there, the lovely thing about Woodinville is we have awesome water.
Yeah.
The whole east side over here has great water, and so we're really lucky. We really don't have to do much to the water to change it up.
Great.
So.
Now, you said that you're bottling. You just started in March, right?
Yeah, we did. March 10th, we started bottling for the first time. Man, that was exciting. I think I socialized a kazoo out of that. Yeah, so 300 cases.
Yeah.
Yep, 300 cases that day, and we've already bottled again for the second time, and now we're planning our third out of the gate with the fourth bottle to market, being the Sargon Session Ale. Yeah, so here we've got bottles everywhere, which is very cool. Bright colored ones, hopefully to entice people on an end cap when they go to a store
Nice.
or a bottle shop or somewhere else.
So what was the reasoning going to bottling? You don't want to be just a local pub. You want to get into the market.
Yeah, we want to get in the marketplace, and the only way you can do that is with packaged goods. I mean, you're going to get draft, but draft, there's a lot of rotation going on. But the package thing, you can get a much wider, footprint. So the whole goal is to pretty much go border to border in Western Washington. So
what's your distribution right now?
we're just right around King County and Snohomish County because we do it all ourselves. But
Okay.
we've been talking with some distributors, so there's some action that's happening. So I'm anticipating sometime before the end of the year we'll have someone and we'll be
Okay.
then
Cool.
slowly expand a little
Yeah.
bit more. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
What, about 90 counts
It's
on tap?
107.
107 now, okay.
Okay. That's that you deliver to.
Yeah, yeah. So it is sporadic. I mean, you get people that are ordering every single week, the core accounts, and then you have the ones that are more one-offs, so like every 2 weeks or even every month. But that's how many we have currently on the books is 107. So,
cool.
Yeah, and I don't know how many of those are stores because we added quite a few with like Total Wine and
6 of those.
and a couple QFCs that are independent, and then of course bottle shops. Chuck's Hop Shops has been a really good supporter of draft and the packaged goods. So
Yeah.
IGA is coming on soon as
Oh, yeah.
well, and Whole Foods is in the pipeline with conversations.
Red
Hagen's.
Red Apple Metropolitan Market.
Yeah, Metropolitan.
So
and
yeah.
Hagen's. So, and I respectfully I'll share too is backtracking just a little bit with the vision in mind. Now we've got historical passion, deep-seated roots with Tyson's skills. My husband enough to be dangerous with having Boxing Cat back on tap back in the day and not being in a profitable time that moved into wine back to beer, But this is bringing a dream to fruition. But even more so is we want to be the Stone Brewing of Washington.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
No.
And we say that humbly, but we really frickin' mean it. I mean, we really mean it.
Yeah.
It's like we have got family in San Diego. We brought Tyson and his lovely wife Naya down before they had their son, and we showed them. We stomped around San Diego many, many, many times. We got family down there. We looked at Ballast and we looked at these breweries, and we thought, okay, guys, this is what we're thinking. Are you on board? Still trying to get Tyson on the hook, Like, get him on an airplane, give him some beer, But anyway, that's really been, my husband's always said that. We want to be the Stone Brewing of Washington, be that profound. And, we've been inspired by the Finkels and other husband and wife, that run good teams and have incredible people working for them. And, we've got some amazing local inspiration too, right? So.
Yeah, it's like she said, the dream of having something like that, because I don't feel that Washington State has that, and they're such massive, Ballast Point, Stone, they still make good quality product they're big, and they still crank it out, and it's like, okay, well, I don't know of a brewery that does that in Washington, and thought, well, there's the goal, that's it, so.
Okay, that's cool that you have a lofty goal.
Yeah,
but got to reach.
Dream big if you're going to dream.
Exactly. And like you said, talking about husband and wife teams, this immediately I taste this and I thought of Chuckanut, and there you go. There's another husband and wife team.
Yep.
That so that's because that's the type of beers they do. A lot of German style. So,
Yeah.
But, okay, let's try the
I'll
next
take that comparison, thank you.
Yeah.
They make delicious beer.
They've won a lot of medals.
Yeah.
They do. Come on, they do.
Their walls full of them.
They got lots of hardware hanging in that place.
So what do we got next here?
That's Sargon IP.
That's the pale ale.
Oh, the pale ale.
Yep, pale ale. So our big thing here is both Mark and I, you want to make the style of beer you like, and that's what we do. And we have 3 IPAs right now that are just packed full of hops. We also have to realize that the whole world doesn't like a lot of hops in their beer. So this is where the pale ale came into play. It's very much not, West Coast pale where it's dry hopped and such like a Sierra Nevada. It's very much a more of a European pale ale, so a English pale, and so this one is malt driven, but yet balanced with American Cascade hops, and so. I can't get away from hops. I still threw plenty of hops at it, but I had to have a beer there, or we had to have a beer that was a little more malty as well, just to kind of satisfy that side of the palate range. So that's kind of where we took the bus on this one, and I think there's a little bit more mouth feel to this one with the richness of the malt in it. So
It is. It's also good. That's a good one too. So the lofty goal. So you want to be. So your goal, I'm guessing, then is down the road to start creating beers that people want to come and stand in line for.
Absolutely.
That they go to the bottle shop and they're like, "Where's the new whatever Sumerian?" Exactly. That's that one that's known that everybody knows.
right,
Those are your goals.
Absolutely.
of course,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you have ideas down the road for different beers that you're looking at doing?
The other maybe just taking some ones that we have and putting a twist on them, and just coming up with something, just divert off of that, and you get a new recipe and go,
Right.
wow, that's amazing,
Yeah.
and just by tweaking different hops and different grains, obviously, it's cooking, so
Yeah. Okay. Very cool.
But I think that we like to stay within, the standard
Okay.
beers that are out there. We're not doing, weird stuff with eggplant and stuff like that. It's just, that was one thing in the very beginning when we were talking, Tyson and I.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, we're not going to do the fruity tooty. We're not going
Okay.
to do the vegetable thing. And I was so glad that Tyson was on board with that. 'Cause it's like, no, let's just try to do the staple ones and make them extremely good. Every single
I
one.
made a habanero stout that was delicious.
That's about as vegetable as we got.
Yeah.
Or is habanero fruit? It's a fruit, right?
There
I
you
think
go.
it's a fruit.
And
yeah.
you did a lot of fruit with the wine, so you were
Yeah,
done.
plenty of grapes crushed.
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
All right, very cool. All right, next, what do we have here?
ISA.
Sargon ISA. It's a sessionable IPA, done with a bunch of Citra hops. Light on the alcohol, but tastes like IPA.
The challenge with ISAs and sessionable IPAs are body, and it always tastes really thin with just a big whack of hops on it. And you can throw hops at anything and kind of get that, get the sessionable. But we did our best to gain as much body as we could with the grain bill, and obviously the grain bill has to be extremely small to make it a sessionable beer or lower alcohol. And so this one, there was a lot of focus on balance as well, and I think we hit the body part pretty well. So, and then the hops are, like Mark said, 100% Citra dry hop, and so everyone loves the Citra. So,
Yeah. Second year in now, are you finding still tough to get hops?
interesting enough, we probably about 3 months in, we locked in a good deal with Hop Union Yakima Chief, and they don't have all the hops we need, but they have a lot of them. And the first go-round was, well, we don't have that. Well, we don't have that. And the second go-around, after meeting them and talking with them and doing the Yakima tour with them, there became a lot more hops available for us. And so I'd say as of now, we probably get about 85% of our hops from them, and we're locked in for a couple years, or a few years on a contract. So, and that's at first, I was very nervous, and I think Mark might have been a little nervous on hops too.
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned about that because it's easy to get the grain, but it's like without the hops, you're kind of going nowhere. So in the beginning, and as it turned out, it worked out really well the first year. I mean, you're paying a little bit higher price, but we still were able to get stuff that we needed to get through the first year, and then we got the contracts, and so as long as you keep up with the contract, then you're pretty much locked into place, and so so I think moving forward, we're okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was good too.
So thank you.
Yeah, this is definitely something mowing the lawn. You can have a couple of those.
Yeah. And you'll see kind of a continuous trend through all of our beers, except for a few like barrel aged stuff. Clean beer, clear beer. I'm a big fan of clear beer. Cloudy beers to me are not inviting. They don't say drink me. I know there's some different thoughts on, you get more hop character out of a cloudy beer, it maintains some of the hop characteristics. We didn't find that any hop characteristic went away when we fined it and cleaned it up and made it clear. So you'll see kind of the trend that I like to kind of throw at our beers is make sure it's clean. And I feel it's a lot more inviting to the person drinking it if it's a clear beer.
So I know you're normally not behind the bar. You already said that. So maybe one of you can answer then. So somebody comes in, they're normally a mega beer drinker. What are you going to point them towards?
My favorite is the Eruption Double IPA, and I think people that like something that's big and got a lot of hops behind it, that's the beer that I would probably steer someone towards.
What if they're normally drinking Coors Light?
I'd probably start off with Pilsner.
Yeah.
That'd be the closest thing that you're going to get to a Coors Light in this place. So
well, it's not even close to Coors Light.
No, it's not. But as far as lightness and color, that's about it.
You're right.
We had a great interaction with a German fellow probably about a year ago. Well, 9 months ago, and he came in here in a very thick German accent, and he had a couple beers, and finally I had a chance to talk to him, and he had been in the States for 25 years, and in a thick accent, he goes, "This is the best Pilsner, or this is the closest Pilsner that reminds me of home."
Oh, really?
And he told that I'm going to tell all my friends, I'm going to bring my family in, and I thought that was really cool. That was one of the best compliments I've ever had
definitely.
while working here.
Yeah.
And so, that made me pretty excited to know that, someone of being from Germany, close to the Czech border, was like, that's a good beer. So.
Yeah, definitely.
We got him a shirt, got a picture taken with him and socialized him, and Jürgen is his name, and it was quite an honor to hear those words gracing his mouth and his broken accent.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So know what your goal is. Obviously, your goal is to be stoned or something. The Washington version.
Not
of that.
stoned. Just
not stoned. Well, that's in Washington anyway. What's been one of the biggest obstacles you've had?
That's an interesting question because I think everything so far has been going at an incredible pace, and we have such a great staff that everything has been moving pretty smoothly, I think. I mean, I think that our growth and the amount of people that, are embracing the brewery is actually probably better than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And, I mean, we hit the first year target. We were aiming for 750 barrels, and we hit that mark. So, I mean, everything's kind of clicking along at a really good pace, and we got into bottles in less than a year, which actually I really didn't think we were going to do that the first year, but the opportunity arose, and so it was like it was able to do it, and so we did it, and so I don't know. So far, so good. Yeah.
Kind of don't mess around though.
Yeah.
We've got three. We got three characters here that like type A. We're disciplined and we're not new at this. And,
right.
We have a lot of years under our
experience.
belt from different industries, and so when you put all of us together, I think it's kind of hard not to make it work.
Right.
So it's a really nice thing.
We could clone ourselves. That would help us.
Well, that's true. Yeah. We're going to need more good people down the road, and I think that will be an opportunity. I wouldn't look at it as like our hurdle or an obstacle. I think that's going to be, hiring people that have our same passion and vision, and onboarding, keeping that integrity, and family feeling, and all of those things that are really important and instrumental, we think, in making a successful business.
Right.
So that will be the opportunity for us, is growing it well.
Yeah. Right. And that's most businesses. That's it. As it gets bigger, it's sometimes lose focus, or different people end up on board that aren't following, like you said, following the same vision.
Yeah, I do all our social marketing, and there's kind of a look and feel, and I'm going to just tell you guys this because I think it's kind of funny. I think Ellen DeGeneres does an amazing job. Her marketing people at driving attendance with humor and the right messaging and being all engaging, and I'm like, I kind of want to be that with Sumerian. I want to be that engaging and that and fun and going, oh my God, what are they going to do next?
Yeah.
And so I think for us, when we talk about hiring, there's transferable skills from where I came from. 26 years Microsoft girl, being able to do this without corporate pressure, but doing it with passion because we all own it and we're in it together, is then finding someone eventually down the road that I can hand the social components over to. I don't know if I'll want to do that because I'm enjoying it so much. But it's not a burden. It's more. It's really, I'm having a lot of fun. So how can you not have fun when there's so much excitement going on every day about what we're doing?
Yeah, exactly.
The community is embracing us too. It's like, this is wine country.
Yeah.
But now they're kind of cloning some of the words that I'm using. It's like a destination for partaking, right? This is like, how many wineries, Tyson? Help me out. Is it 100 and something?
5 wineries in Woodinville right now.
And
or tasting room winery.
So boutique wineries and stuff like that. And I think we were number 10 brewery coming into Woodinville. 8, 10?
Yeah,
okay, pardon me.
Wow.
I knew I would stand
I think
corrected on that.
there's 10 total now.
I knew I'd stand corrected, and pardon me for pitching that number out. But yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, we hope that Woodinville will be and continue to be a destination for partaking, not just in wine, but beer and, spirits. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we've got distills down the street. We've got Woodinville whiskey right down the street, and then this is kind of cool too when I talk about destination for partaking. We've got the Willows Lodge neighboring us. And so on their videos that they run in all their rooms, they've got Sumerian as a brewery to come see, which is
nice.
like, when you come to Woodinville and you stay at the Willows Lodge, and you eat at the Barking Frog and you drink wine, don't forget Sumerian. And so they did an on-site little vid here. And so anyway, guys, we're thrilled to have you out. Tasting our beers and hearing the story and hearing from Tyson and our head brewer and all of it. So.
Yeah.
Let's try some more.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Let's talk hops.
Hops.
Yeah.
Getting hoppier as we go here.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So this is the normal IPA, Narcissism IPA, and it has no recollection to how we operate. But yeah, this IPA was it was born way back when we first started, with the color, the grain, and it used different hops. Well, early on it used all the beautiful hops you can get because it's homebrew. You're buying.
It was born while I was twisting Tyson's arm.
Yeah.
That's when it was born. Okay. It's when we were making beer in our other warehouse and the test system. That's where it kind of all started. So.
And I didn't use wine yeast, I promise. And so we were using all the big, beautiful, easy-to-get hops at a homebrew store. Well, when you bump that up to, 30 pounds a batch, all of a sudden 30 pounds are really hard to come by of some of those varietals. And as the new guy, like I was saying earlier, it was a little difficult to get in. And so we had to modify the first recipe a little bit to get our first batch going. Well,
It took a long time to open up all those packs of hops.
Yeah. So what you have here is literally kind of a slight morph of what we first started with, and the direction it went, I think, only improved the beer. And it's kind of thinking out of the box for hops. We combined 2 hops in the finishing hop and the dry hopping on this one, Equinox and Mosaic. A lot of people use those hops separately, I haven't seen a lot of beers used, using those together. So we used them together, and it makes this beautiful kind of piney, tropical, aromatic medley for the nose. And so we're really happy to have this one.
Yeah, that's good.
And this is one of the first beers Mark and I looked at each other and, damn near high-fived.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This is it.
They probably hugged.
Have you, if you're going to do a new recipe, do you try other people's beers to get an idea of what they're doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to try other people's
Yeah.
beers. We constantly sample beers.
On purpose?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we've had a couple,
It's part of the job.
we were building a red at one time and trying to decide, is it a red or an amber? And we literally had probably 25 different reds on the table, and we were trying all of them. Oddly enough, the India Red Ale that we didn't know was an India Red Ale stood out to us because all the hops in it. And so we go, okay, that would be the one we would make. And then we figured out it was the IRA, and we're like, well, we don't really want to add to our IPA profile. And so that's the exact reason why we don't have a red or an amber, because it was just, for us, it was not a desirable beer. Now, that's not saying none of them were good, but it's just something that we didn't want to pursue, and we were kind of in the process of making the double IPA anyway, and so we kind of started our focus on that.
Right.
Which I'm glad we did.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
The eruption, right there in the end.
All right. Next one. Is this the double IPA?
That's the double
That's
IPA.
it.
That's the eruption.
So this one, the IPA gets about 2 pounds of hops per barrel in the finish. This one gets about 4.5. So we throw a ton of hops at this. Mark doesn't even cringe when I say that anymore either. One of the things, actually, on a side note right there, starting off, hops are one of the most expensive pieces of the brew puzzle. And so, early on, Mark, and he still repeats it, I will not sacrifice hops for money and try to save a couple cents. And so to that, I really commend him. There's some larger breweries that came out hoppy originally, and you can tell that maybe they, as Mark puts it, the bean counters get involved and the hops start kind of diminishing, or just it's not the same. And so this one, I'm really excited to say Mark will not rein in on the hops, and he'll let me throw all the hops I can at it. So that's a good thing.
They'll never change just to save a few cents. That was my promise that I made myself, and it was like, I won't do it. I think once you develop a really good recipe, I think it's foolish in business to get everyone excited about a product and then start to rein it back on them, and then next thing you know, they're going to jump ship and they're going to go start maybe consuming someone else's product. So I think you shoot yourself in the foot by doing that. Everyone has a different madness to, what they do in business. But for us here, we're going to keep the recipes the way they are, regardless of what the cost is to make them. So
Not jeopardize quality for quantity, or never do that. So it's that product integrity we were talking about earlier.
Definitely. Well, if you want to be the best, I guess you have to do that. You can't sacrifice that.
Yeah, you have to have good ingredients, and you have to, if you make a good quality product, this is how it works. It's gourmet burgers and bad burgers.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah, definitely. So when you were home brewing, what kind of beer did you like to brew?
I was kind of making ambers, and the reason why is because Mac and Jack's was so popular, and so I kind of started off making that, and I actually made one that was actually pretty good, and people really liked it when I had the boxing cat thing, and so that's kind of where I was at. I wasn't making hoppy beers because that wasn't the scene back then, and then also I did a pale ale. I really liked, but what I never did was the draft pale ale from Pyramid. I just thought it was smooth, easy to drink, but I wasn't really doing the hop thing because it just wasn't the thing back then.
Right.
It was the 90s.
It was the mid 90s.
Do you still have that amber recipe?
I no, I don't. I probably don't. I probably thought it was good, but in the grand scheme of things, was it really good? I don't know. But people seemed to like it, but it wasn't like we had a whole lot of people coming into the place that I had. It was kind of tied in with another business that I had, and I just happened to put a couple faucets through the wall, and people came in, they would get a pint of it, and yeah, they kind of liked it. But then again, it was the mid '90s,
Yeah.
so it's a different world back then.
Yeah, it's definitely different now.
Yeah, much different. So I don't think it would sell nowadays.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
So-
Tyson, what's next?
So going to the dark profile now. I guess we'll go lightest to darkest. Yeah, the Nitro Porter. So the goal there was to have a wonderful nitro handle and kind of make it approachable. This is kind of mid ABV. It's nothing over powerful, and what I wanted is a kind of little roasty coffee note in the porter, and then just easy to drink and smooth. And so I think we achieved it with the nitro.
Put it down.
You're done.
She'll finish all the darks.
You've been waiting for this flash.
I like the dark beers too. It's my Irish roots, I think. Yeah, I like the dark beers. Tyson knows I like the dark beers.
Yeah.
So what's the next one here?
So the next one is our Warrior Imperial Stout, and this one has morphed quite a bit, and I think we're finally on the final recipe, and you don't get a lot of chances to build stouts because they just don't sell a whole lot, and so, we might have made 5 or 6 brews of this now, and this the last 2 have been very consistent with each other, but this is kind of our final landing spot, and they've kept going up in ABV, and now we're kind of landing right around that 8.0 mark. And I don't know if you can call it an imperial, but we do. And so we wanted it big, robust, kind of in your face, chewy. And there's going to be a fun rendition of this one coming out for a winter beer. It's going to get jacked up even more, and we're going to throw some other fun stuff at it. And then it's going to go rest in barrels for about 8 months.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
Whoop, whoop.
Limited production.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're hoping to do like a 400 case run of it, maybe 500 case max, and then
In October.
and then get it out in the stores for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
Before Santa.
Yeah,
then.
before Santa. Yeah.
So this last one is barrel aged stout. So it's kind of going in the direction we want to take the winter beer or the winter edition. But this is a lower ABV, very mellow, very easy to drink. There is a ton of barrel notes in it.
Yeah, definitely.
Most of the barrels are from right down the street, Woodinville Whiskey. They were nice enough to sell some of their older barrels off to us, or their once used barrels. And so for me, I pick up a lot of vanilla out of this. There's a little whiskey flavor in there, but obviously there's no whiskey left in the barrel when we put it in there, just what's left in the wood. And I let it warm up. I let it move into the wood. I let it extract all it can from the wood, and then I bring it back down to temperature. This particular one aged in barrel probably about 4 months. And the interesting thing about barrel aging is there's no rhyme or reason. Our first batch finished in 1 month, and it was almost too much. And this batch, it took a little longer. I think a few of the barrels were twice used at that point, so it took a little longer to extract all the notes we were looking for. But I love this beer. It's very popular dark beer. It's only served here in the pub, just because it's so limited, and I think it's very, very drinkable. So both the Pilsner and this one, if someone comes in saying, I hate beer, I don't like beer, how come you don't have wine? We give them one of these, and typically they'll sit down and drink it, without even a doubt. So.
Yeah, you see Michelle's finishing all the dark. All the darks are going.
I'm winking at her going, hey, that's my favorite too.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
Nice.
Okay, you gave us an idea of what you're going to be doing for bottling later in the year. So, what's the future hold?
Well, we hope there's more shiny things on the wall. Like that.
You're going to apply or enter more competitions?
We're going to enter more competitions because we were not a formalized brewery in January, which was the kind of month to be a brewery to enter into the Washington Beer Festivals, the June Father's Day one and some of these ones. So honestly, We entered for the first time the Sip Northwest magazine competition. They had us come down pouring, and it was pretty cool. We're pouring next to the Finkels, and we're like, oh my God, we're here. We're landed. We're like pouring, and then we entered our Sargon Session Ale, and it got second place out of. I don't know if it was 60 or 70 beers. I can't recall exactly, but so we've got one shiny thing on the wall for starters. We plunked it right there above the tap handles, and we're hoping for many more warm accolades and hanging things on the wall. Yeah. So.
Well, Tyson, as a brewer, I mean, what do the shiny things mean to you?
They're all fun. The guys that are tasting, you hope, know beer, and that's the tough part. What's a rating? What's a 100-point wine? In the wine industry, it's like what's a 90-point wine? What's a 100-point wine? I'd love to see our beer get accolades, and the more the better. Obviously, it makes me sleep better at night. But for me inside, I know all these beers are made to the best of my ability, and that can only get better because we're only getting better as a team and as a brewer, and the more every day we learn something new, whether it's reading or talking to some other brewer, like, whoa, you do what? Oh, really? Well, I'm going to try that. So a lot of it's networking and stuff. So there's only one way to go, and it's up for sure.
Awesome.
We want to get picked up by a distributor. I mean, I said shiny things, but part of the big growth and opportunity is to really kind of get a sales force beyond ourselves out there pushing our beer. Heck, and even we have family in San Diego going, hey, when can we get Sumerian in San Diego? Now that would be a real stake in the ground, right? To actually have Washington beer in the state capital of the world, San Diego.
Exactly.
So there's lots of personal goals and aspirations around this engine we've got called Sumerian.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me the metal thing's great, but I think that more importantly, if the consumer, they're the one that's going to really drive, and you'll know if you're doing something right, because obviously if you start to sell lots of your product out in the marketplace in all different areas, that to me will be the icing on the cake. A metal, it's just like I'm really into movies, and I go on to some of these websites, and you get these ratings, and then it's like, but really, you get one or two people that say, oh, the movie's great, and then you watch it, you go, this is not very good, or they say it's terrible, and you go, hey, this is good. So,
it's subjective.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, well, great. If you give us some metal, that's awesome. But I think the real true test is the consumer. And if the consumer embraces you and loves your product, then that's it. You did it right.
There's the metal right there.
That is my generous approach. Just having shiny things on the wall. We know what's most important. That's absolutely the fan base and the people talking about our products. And,
exactly.
And where can I get it? Where can I get it? Where can I get it? When's it coming our way? Exactly right. Exactly right.
No.
So there's one more here. Mark and I are very much in agreement on sour beers.
Okay.
I think sour beers are infected, which they are. I come from the wine industry. Well, I come from the beer industry, back to the wine industry, and back to the beer. And so they're inoculated with wild yeast strains that are extremely potent yeast strains, which can ruin and take down a brewery in a heartbeat. And so I kind of vowed never to make a sour. Definitely not here. But from being in the wine industry, I can't get away from wine barrels. And so I've brought quite a few in here and there, and I assure you they're hundreds of feet away from our brewery and our fermenters, just in case. But I know the wineries that they came from, and I know how clean they are, and they had lab reports done on their wine that came out of them, and so I know that there was nothing in them. With that said, this is a Pilsner, our Pilsner aged in a Sauv Blanc barrel. And so it's picked up a bit of sour note, acid from the barrel. He claims there was no pediococcus in the barrel. I think there might be a little bit just from the sour note. So this is as sour as we're going to get. at least at this facility. And this will never see the market. This is a one-off. But, playing with barrels, I have our pale ale is aging in a Grenache barrel. And then I have a dark kind of Belgian dark in a Cabernet barrel. So we're trying little fun things here and there just for the pub and just to, bring people out and, hey, what's new here, and because that's a big question we get. What's new? What are you bringing out? And it's like, oh God, are they getting tired of our normal beers? And maybe some people want more variety. And it's like, okay, so we better, make these couple little one-offs. The habanero stout comes to mind. That was only one keg worth. And so, this is something that we could keep playing with. And it doesn't, we rest for 2 months and then it'll come back out. And so, we get those people just asking weekly, is it back? Is it back?
Yeah.
Well, not yet. And so it's kind of fun to tease people with. They, every time this comes out, it tastes a little bit different. So it morphs a little more. What I do is I pull a keg out and then I replace it with fresh Pilsner.
Okay.
And so there's always that, it's almost like a vinegar mother. There's always that mother in there from over a year ago that started. And so there's always going to be a generation of that in there. So it's fun to see this beer evolve, actually. And like I said, it'll never go to market. It'll just kind of be a one-off here in the pub.
Good though.
So thank you. And, I get a lot of sour purists. That's not a sour. It wasn't designed to be a sour. It was designed to be a Pilsner aged in a Sauv Blanc barrel. That's what it was. And it turns out there's a little sour note.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No, it's
I
good.
call it acid. There's a little acidic note to it.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you all very much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
What a treat.
Thank you for coming out.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thanks.
All right. Thank you very much to the folks at Sumerian Brewing in Woodinville for joining us today. We'll be right back after a local music break from Maszer.
That was Fata Mirage by Maszer. You can check them out at maszer.bandcamp.com. That's MASZER.bandcamp.com. If you want to have your music played on Northwest Brew Talk, contact us today. And now let's try our second beer of the evening. It's from Seas Brewing, located in Gig Harbor. Their tap room is open 7 days a week. We're drinking their Life Jacket Session IPA, brewed for the warm, stunning long days of summer in the Pacific Northwest. Life Jacket Session IPA will refresh and quench your thirst like no other. Concocted with pale ale and Pilsner malt, Life Jacket produces a light golden hue and provides a crisp, clean, and dry malt base for the Yakima Valley grown Amarillo and Nugget hops to emerge from. Stay cool with powerful hop notes of citrus, tangerine, and muted bitterness. 4.7% ABV, 45 IBUs, and an untapped rating of 3.51.
Yes, this is a slightly dark golden yellow there. As you get some of that citrusy scent off of it. But it is pretty mild.
Oh, yeah. You can definitely smell the citrus for sure.
Yeah. This is definitely a mild IPA. And it is a session IPA.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like it says, it's a session IPA. It's something that has low ABV, low IBU, so it's something that you can drink a couple.
Yeah, but it's got all those flavors in there, too, that make for a good beer.
Yeah. It's not bitter at all. It's not a hoppy IPA.
No, but you can still taste the hops. It's not like they're dull or anything. Mm-hmm. They're definitely there. They're just muted, I guess would be the right.
Yeah, it's not like you get that big bitterness afterwards. You get a little bit right at the beginning and then it's gone.
But very good. I like it.
Yeah, that is good.
I want you to give me fresh beer. You serious?
This week's fresh beer will be on tap starting tomorrow, May 5th, through May 8th only at Chuckanut Brewery in Bellingham. It's a Mexican-style lager with a twist. What makes this lager special is the use of Northwest grown and malted Alba barley straight from Skagit Valley. Tastes wonderful with a sliced lime on a spring day. The Skagit Valley maltsters have malted the barley a special light color just for Chuckanut to use in order to create this typical Mexican low-alcohol lager. 4.4% ABV.
Those Mexican ones are being kind of popular.
Well, this is a special thing for Cinco de Mayo.
Okay, yeah, and but they are becoming kind of popular.
Yeah.
There are other breweries that are doing it, even in Washington.
Now, I'm not sure if this is something they may release every year or if this is just for this year. I'm not sure, but May 5th through 8th at their brewery. It's a very short time.
Awesome. And that brings us to the end of this episode of Northwest Brew Talk.
Make sure you tune in next week when we chat with Badass Backyard Brewing.
The show is written and produced by Michelle Rizzo and myself.
If you want to contact us, email us at nwbrewtalk@gmail.com or get a hold of us on Twitter at nwbrewtalk. Our theme music is from Gilbert Neal. You can check him out at gilbertneal.com.
Until next time, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
Stay hopping, my friends. If you're new to the show, we suggest you check out our back catalog with some great... If you're new to the show, we suggest you check out our back catalog with some great interviews and lots of Washington beer. This week we have an interview with Sumerian Brewing,